Okay, let me tell you a story about a lawyer who literally almost destroyed his entire career using ChatGPT. Back in 2023, a New York attorney named Stephen Schwartz was working on a personal injury case against a major airline. Now, he needed legal precedents, right? Previous court decisions to back up his argument. So he did what millions of us do every single day. He asked ChatGPT for a little help. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack one of the absolute most fascinating and honestly, most dangerous problems in artificial intelligence today.
So when Schwartz asked for help, the AI didn't just spit out one or two vague ideas. No, it gave him exactly 6 cases, and they were flawless. I mean, they had detailed summaries, case numbers, the correct court names, formal citations, the whole shebang. Schwartz, who is an attorney with decades of experience, mind you, took these 6 perfect cases and submitted them directly to the court. But, well, there was just one tiny problem. None of them existed. Just let that sink in for a second. The AI had completely fabricated every single one of them. It made up case names that sounded incredibly legit. It invented judges who had literally never drawn breath. It created citations that led absolutely nowhere. The judge, understandably, was not thrilled. Schwartz was slapped with a $5,000 fine, the story went massively viral, and suddenly the whole world was introduced to a term that is now central to basically every conversation about AI.
And that term is AI hallucination. Now let's get one thing straight right off the bat. When we say an AI hallucinates, we definitely don't mean it's having some sort of psychedelic trip or suffering from a mental health condition. It's really just a metaphor. An AI hallucination is simply when a language model generates text that is incorrect, nonsensical, or completely fabricated. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it presents that information with total, unshakable confidence.
You see, hallucinations aren't just a binary thing where it either works or it doesn't. They actually exist on a spectrum. A minor hallucination? That's like asking for a book summary and the AI gets a character's name slightly wrong. It's annoying, for sure, but not the end of the world. But as we move up to medium hallucinations, like inventing a plausible but completely fake city population, well, that really messes up your research. And then it gets dark. A major hallucination might confidently recommend a non-existent medical treatment to a sick patient. And at the extreme end, we have catastrophic hallucinations, like our lawyer friend fabricating entire legal documents that can destroy careers.
So the big takeaway here is this. AI doesn't actually know that it's lying to you. In fact, it doesn't know anything, period. It doesn't have beliefs, it has zero intentions, and it has absolutely no concept of truth versus falsehood. What it has are patterns. Think of it like playing that game where someone starts a sentence and you just instinctively finish it. The quick brown fox jumps over the... You immediately think lazy dog, right? You aren't pulling a hard fact from a database, you're just completing a pattern based on all the times you've heard that phrase before. AI is doing exactly that, just on an astronomical scale. It's predicting the most probable next word based on trillions of words it read on the internet. And sometimes, the most probable next word just happens to be a total lie.
To really wrap our heads around why this happens, we need to look under the hood. So let's dive into Section 1, the billion-piece jigsaw puzzle. Imagine I hand you a jigsaw puzzle with a billion pieces scattered across 1,000 different rooms, and I absolutely refuse to tell you what the finished picture looks like. You just start pulling pieces together in a way that seems right based on how they fit together in the past, right? And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what's happening during AI training. On the one hand, what the AI learns are statistical relationships. It learns that Paris and France appear together a lot. It learns perfect grammar, how to mimic a professional tone, and the mathematical probabilities of words. But on the flip side, what it doesn't learn is truth. It never learns reality. It learns what is probable, not what is factual. And that is a massive, incredibly dangerous gap between how the machine operates and how we humans expect a definitive answer to work.
Let's put this into perspective with a really simple example. Imagine the AI's training data contains millions of statements about the Earth. If 90% of the internet says the Earth is round, and 10% of the internet says the Earth is flat, the model is going to favor the round answer. But here's the kicker. It doesn't favor it because it fundamentally comprehends physics, or space, or reality. It favors the round answer strictly because of mathematical probability. Now, if you ask it about something super obscure where the data is thin, it doesn't have the ability to just say, hey, I don't know. It just strings together the highest probability words it can find, basically guessing its way to a really confident-sounding answer.
And it gets even crazier when you consider what actually makes up that training data. The AI indiscriminately absorbs a massive, totally messy ocean of human text. We're talking Reddit threads full of wrong answers, satirical articles from The Onion, outdated medical advice from like 1998, and some really wild conspiracy theories. To the model, a peer-reviewed scientific paper and a random, unhinged blog post are exactly the same thing, just patterns of words. Plus, there's this thing called exposure bias. Basically, once an AI generates one slightly incorrect word, it has to continue predicting based on its own wrong output. So one tiny error can cascade into a completely fabricated narrative in seconds.
And let's be real, these aren't just theoretical academic concerns. These are real-world stakes. In 2023, sure, we saw our lawyer getting fined, but multiple lawyers across the US were caught doing the exact same thing. That very same year, the National Eating Disorders Association replaced their human helpline staff with a chatbot. Within days, it hallucinated and gave vulnerable people advice on how to lose weight, which is actively harmful. By 2024, major newspapers were caught publishing AI-generated articles with entirely invented quotes and fake journalist bylines. And today, researchers are actually finding AI-hallucinated references in published academic papers, permanently contaminating the scientific record.
So what connects all of these tragic and, honestly, pretty embarrassing cases? It's the central thesis of our explainer today, captured perfectly in this quote. It wears the costume of competence. In every single one of those cases, the AI wasn't rambling or spitting out gibberish. It produced text that was well-structured, grammatically flawless, and utterly convincing. It looks exactly like a competent professional wrote it. And that is exactly what makes AI hallucinations so incredibly dangerous to the unsuspecting user.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. If this technology is so powerful, but so fundamentally flawed when it comes to the truth, can the tech industry actually fix it? Let's shift gears and look at the engineering side of things in Section 2, Fixing the Machine.
Developers are throwing absolutely everything they have at this problem right now. So let's break down the 4 main approaches they're taking. First up is RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Think of this like giving the AI an open book test. It searches a trusted database first, then answers. It's a great step, but if the source document has an error, the AI just repeats it. Second is better data curation, filtering out the junk data. But honestly, that's incredibly slow, really expensive, and totally subjective. Third is RLHF, which is basically training the AI based on human feedback. This makes the AI polite and helpful, but a hallucination that sounds polite still gets a high score from a human who doesn't bother to fact-check it. And finally, we have AI checkers, using one AI to supervise another. But these struggle hard with niche or brand new topics.
So what is the hard truth here? Well, the consensus among AI researchers right now is that hallucinations will likely never be entirely eliminated, not with the current architecture of language models anyway. Instead, the industry has this new twofold goal. Make it rare, make it detectable. The whole objective is to manage the risk and lower the frequency of these errors to a point where the massive benefits of using AI finally outweigh the dangers of it just making things up.
But where does that leave you and me? We definitely can't wait around for Silicon Valley to perfectly sanitize these models. We need a way to use these incredible tools safely right now, without needing a PhD in machine learning. So let's get into Section 3, the AI Trust Protocol.
The absolute best part about this protocol is how immediately actionable these 5 steps are. Step 1 is the golden rule. Never, ever use AI as your only source for anything important. Step 2, remember that AI is great at language, like summarizing or drafting, but it's terrible at retrieving unverified facts. Use it to brainstorm, not to fact-check. Step 3 is my personal favorite. Learn the hallucination smells, which we'll look at in just a second. Step 4, always ask the AI to explicitly cite its sources. Force it to show its work. And step 5, use AI tools that are actually designed for accuracy and research, like Perplexity, for example, rather than just general-purpose chatbots optimized for chatting.
Let's zoom in on step 3 for a second, the hallucination smells. As you use AI more, you really start to develop a gut feeling when something is just a little off. Watch out for these red flags. If the AI gives you an overly specific number, like 42.7% of people in 1892 did X but provides zero source, yeah, that smells. References to named academic studies with absolutely no clickable links, very smelly. Names that sound weirdly generic or slightly misspelled, big red flag. And above all, if the AI is demonstrating extreme, unshakable confidence about a highly obscure fact, trust your gut. It's almost certainly making it up.
If there is just one thing you take away from this explainer, let it be this. The machine is brilliant, it is capable of incredible feats of language, but it doesn't know what it doesn't know. It will never turn around and tell you, hey, I'm actually not sure about that. It will just fill the gap in its knowledge with the most statistically probable sounding answer and deliver it with the confidence of a Nobel laureate.
You have to treat AI like a brilliant, but occasionally entirely unreliable colleague. Trust, but absolutely verify.
And that brings us to you. I want to turn this over to our community. Have you ever caught an AI making something up? Whether it was just a funny minor glitch or a medium hallucination that almost ruined a research paper for you, I really want to hear your stories in the comments below. AI is the most powerful tool humanity has built since the internet, and by understanding its flaws, we can actually harness its true potential. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, stay highly skeptical, and I'll see you in the next one.